Hong Kong Vipassana Center, and in this video I'm going to share my honest review and tell you everything you need to know before attending. So if you're considering doing Vipassana in Hong Kong, this video will give you a really clear idea of what to expect, from the facilities to some practical packing tips. So for those of you who might not know what Vipassana is an ancient meditation technique focused on observing sensations in your body objectively, which help you gain clarity and self-awareness. And Vipassana was originally taught by the Buddha like 2,000 years ago, but it's a non-sectarian technique that people of all religions, all races, and all backgrounds practice today. Yeah, and if you want a more in-depth explanation of Vipassana, I'd recommend checking out the link in my description and right here as well. So one thing I want to clarify about Vipassana is that it's not a luxury wellness retreat like White Lotus or some psychedelic drug retreat. It's meant to be a very challenging, disciplined class experience. So it's basically just 10 days of complete silence, no internet, no phone, no talking, no exercise, no writing, just meditating every day from 4:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. And the courses are also entirely donation-based, and they're funded by past students who completed the program, so it is free. That being said, I feel like it's totally valid to want to go to a comfortable Vipassana facility, so in this video I'm going to be sharing more details about the Hong Kong Center for anyone considering going and what I recommend packing. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how to get there. So the Vipassana Center is located on the Two Island in Hong Kong, and it's quite accessible while still feeling like you're surrounded in nature, which is great. So you can get there by taking the MTR to Tung Chung Station, and then by taking a taxi to the center. The taxi is about 20 minutes long and is around 200 HKD. Alternatively, you can take the bus from the station, which costs around 40 HKD, but it does involve 15 minutes of walking on a dirt road. Yeah, but now that you know how to get there, let's talk a little bit more about the center's facilities. So the center has 3 main facilities: the dormitory, the dining hall, and the meditation hall. All 3 are air conditioned quite comfortably, and I went there in June, so just some context for what the weather was like. The dormitories had AC units and then fans, which speed you can control. And the meditation hall had the strongest air conditioning, which was controlled by the teachers, and it would get quite cold at times, so I'd recommend bringing a meditation shawl. The dormitory was pretty basic but clean. In my dormitory hall, there were 15 beds and 6 bathrooms. All bathrooms had showers and bidets, and the mattress was also firm but comfortable enough. So this is what a bed looked like. We have a mattress cover, a mattress, this for washing it later, and then this mosquito net that we hang all over the bed. There's also a separate bathroom from all the dormitories where you could use a hairdryer, and the laundry area was also pretty efficient. There were 4 sinks and many tubs which you could use to wash your clothes. They also had a simple spin dryer that you could use to get the water off of your clothes. And next, let's talk about food and dining, because I know that meals are probably a big consideration for a lot of us. So the dining hall at the center is quite basic. The meals are served buffet style, and they provide utensils which you wash yourself after every meal. And the meals are pretty much just simple Asian vegetarian dishes like steamed vegetables, potato curry, and each meal had soup, along with a lot of seasoning options. The food was pretty good and nutritious, but personally around day 6 I started to get a bit bored with the repetitive meals, but also that just might vary based on your personal taste. I noticed that for me, I tend to get bored of repetitive meals quicker than other people, but it was no problem. I still enjoyed the food. So now, aside from the indoor spaces, you might be curious about what the outdoor spaces were like at the facilities. So the walking area is basically it's a segment of road outside the meditation hall that's around 66 steps long and 12 steps wide for the female walking portion. I do think the male walking portion is a bit bigger from what I saw after the class ended. And like you're just walking on concrete, but the view is pretty nice because you're just enclosed by all the mountains and the tropical forest. And yeah, overall it was pretty comfortable. My one complaint about the outdoor area was that when it rained a lot, which it would because when I went to the center, it was monsoon season, the area between my dormitory and the meditation hall would get flooded a little bit. So I'd recommend bringing some waterproof slippers. And there's also a significant amount of insects in the center, which you really can't be surprised about because you're in the middle of a tropical forest. But there was a significant amount, but this was also good because while taking the course, I learned how to get over my fear of insects. There would be like occasional, like semi-occasional cockroaches in the dormitory, and then also just like a lot of drain flies around the bathrooms and in the laundry area, and just other like tropical insects. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. But there would be insect catchers, and I feel like it didn't really change the experience that much. Okay, so given all this information, I'm going to share some things that you should bring that you might forget or might not think are necessary. So you have to bring all of your own toiletries and bed supplies like blanket, pillow, bedsheet, toilet paper, and more. So that is something to keep in mind because I know other Vipassana centers you might not need to do that. I do think the center should have some extra bed supplies though, so if it's inconvenient for you to bring your own, I would definitely recommend emailing them in advance to borrow. I also think an eye mask and earplugs are very essential. I know that sometimes I don't bring them around because I'm like, oh, I don't really need them to sleep, but I feel like they are very essential because even if no one in your dormitory is snoring, the insects are quite loud at night, and then also like there's just like some light coming through at night, and you have to sleep very early anyways at like 10 p.m, which is not normal for probably most of the people going to the center. So it can be quite hard to sleep early, and the eye mask and earplugs just will really help you. I would also recommend bringing a blanket or a meditation shawl for you to wear in the meditation room because it can get quite cold. And then I'd recommend bringing slippers or flip-flops for the bathroom and also for just walking around the center. I also recommend bringing a reusable water bottle. They have a lot of places where you can fill up your water there. And then I'd recommend bringing around 3 pairs of clothes because you're going to have ample time to do laundry while you're there. And I think 3 pairs of clothes is like how much I brought and how much other people brought. And one more thing to consider about the center is the language factor. So during my course, most of the people spoke Cantonese, Mandarin, or English, and most of the participants were Hong Kong natives. So knowing at least one of these languages on a conversational level will make your experience a lot smoother. Yeah, it would just make it a lot easier to talk to the course managers and talk to other students on day 10 when noble silence is lifted. But if you speak another language, the center can usually provide recordings of the nightly discourses in different languages, but it might be harder for you to communicate with the staff there and with the other students when the course ends. Okay. But overall, I would recommend doing Vipassana at the Hong Kong Center. Yeah, I really enjoyed my experience there, and I think the center was pretty conducive to the Vipassana environment and also just being in complete silence.